We're almost through a quarter of the NFL season, and well, the failure bus is getting loaded up nicely, especially in Chicago. Better hold on tight, kids. These ones are juicy. The 5 biggest NFL fails of Week 4 is coming up right after this. Thank you, Pristine Auction, for sponsoring today's video. Hey, if you don't know about PristineAuction.com, they are the most trusted sports memorabilia and collectibles auction site. Auctions at PristineAuction.com start at just $1, and they have thousands of items of memorabilia with authentic signatures. Affordable deals are happening at PristineAuction.com all the time, and they have just about every player that you could want. Every auction on PristineAuction.com comes with a certificate of authenticity from the industry's most reputable authenticators, PSA, Beckett, Fanatics, and more. Upgrade your collection today by using registration code FivePoints at sign-up and receive $10 off your first item one. Be sure to sign up now because deals are happening every day. Again, use registration code FivePoints for $10 off your first purchase at PristineAuction.com/register. Number 5, he can't keep getting away with this. Somehow, despite the presence of Brandon Staley as their head coach, the Chargers are 2-2. That's because they have Justin Herbert, and their defense has bailed them out more than PPP loans to million-dollar businesses. Back to Staley, who once again was embattled in a one-score game where his decision-making would come into play. Up a TD on his own 34 with over 3.5 minutes left, the Chargers faced 4th and 1. What does Chad Staley do? Of course he goes for it, and this time, learning from his fullback dive failure of last week, he does the right thing. He puts the ball in Justin Herbert's hands. Too bad the Raiders were ready for it because they aren't stupid. Staley's decision making is more questionable than dating a stripper after cashing out your 401k, and it gave the Raiders a short field with a rookie QB who was surging. Then of course, the defense that Staley trusts less than a fart after Taco Bell once again gets a stop and bails him out. Unbelievable, this guy is like a drunk woman dancing around a cup full of pee. She's bound to kick it at some point. Number 4, Bill Belichick. I thought I would never see the day when the GOAT of all GOAT coaches would make it onto this list. But here we are. After shitting on the league for nearly 2 decades, it appears that nothing lasts forever, and the Cowboys set out Sunday to issue the biggest beatdown Bill Belichick has ever received in his lifetime as a coach, even when he coached those shitty-ass Browns. A long time ago in their peak, I made a vid about the greatest beatdowns Brady Belichick had gotten, and that was a 33-14 loss to the Ravens in 2010. Well, this game wasn't even that close, as ironically the much maligned Mike McCarthy and the boys proceeded to shit all over the Patriots like they had some type of scat fetish. 38-3, 2 TDs on turnovers, Mac Jones looked terrible, and the Pats lost their best player in Matthew Judon. I don't think Belichick forgot how to coach, but the 1-3 Pats have forgotten how to win. Number 3, Rodney Harrison. Zach Wilson has had a pretty rough go his first 3 seasons in the league. The former number 2 overall pick looked to be yet another victim of the curse of the number 2 overall pick. RG3, Ryan Leaf, Mitch Trubisky. After 3 pretty average games as Aaron Rodgers' stunt cock, Wilson finally put together what may have been the best game of his career. His full talent set on display in what looked to justify the Jets picking this guy as high as they did. So what does NFL analyst and former player Rodney Harrison have to say?
Taylor, was Zach better tonight than what you anticipated he would be watching him on tape? And you could be honest. He's continuing to get better week in and week out. But watching that tape, man, you got to look at this dude and say, oh, he is garbage.
Well, first he baits Chris Jones into trashing Zach Wilson and then calls Wilson trash. Then says he's not special. This from a former player who should know that athletes have ups and downs throughout their career and the level of commitment it takes just to make it to the league. And also, somehow be good. Harrison, who may have just been click farming, got negative comments draped all over him on social media like David Tyree in Super Bowl 42. Chris Jones handled it like a champ and was the better man. I hope Zach Wilson balls out for the rest of the year because fuck the haters. Do better, Rodney. Number 2, a giant fail. Well, the Giants somehow avoided being on this list for 2 weeks in a row, but now depressed me has returned and I'm about to start walling myself into a cellar. 1 year removed from a playoff win, there was high hopes headed into this season, and granted, 3 of their first 4 games have been against playoff teams from last year, but you didn't think their O-line would be softer than Dua Lipa's skin. Daniel Jones was sacked, get this, not 1, not 2, but 11 times. Yes, double-digit sacks laid on the Giants as Jones took more hits than Snoop Dogg prior to doing, well, anything. Evan Neal is developing about as fast as a Polaroid in the dark. Andrew Thomas has left a huge hole on the left side. And Daniel Jones didn't help by throwing this awful pick that made even Eli Manning wince. Ugh. And now for our number 1 fail of the week. Week 4, the Chicago Bears. We all know the narrative coming into this season. Big hopes and unjustified expectations for the Bears, even though they literally were the Tank Bowl champions last year. So when they got up 21 points on a struggling 0-3 Broncos team, it seemed like they could at least get back some feel-good vibes for 1 week. Nope. Not a fucking chance, as the Bears watch their lead slip away in the most painful ways possible. A scoop and score, a turnover on downs, a long field goal, and then a back-breaking interception by Fields that made the entire home crowd wince like they just stepped on a Lego. And it became clear just who the worst team in the league is, and it wasn't the ones with the horsies on their helmet. As of right now, the Bears hold the top 2 picks in the NFL draft, so don't expect them to, number 1, win any more games, number 2, do anything but fuck up those picks. Oh, and they don't fire coaches during the season, so good luck with that. Until next week.